It's time for a cute DIY, so I'm going to teach you guys how to make these little painted trinket trays from home. You will need a ceramic tray as well as some paint. Mine is from Michaels. And I highly suggest getting gold or silver paint as well because the accents look so pretty underneath the resin if you plan on doing something floral like me. I got this huge variety pack with so many colors, but you can always get the basic colors or just the colors that you want. You will also need some thin paint brushes. The thinner the better. This set is from Amazon, but I'm also going to attach a different one that was for nail polish in my Amazon supply list. I really needed the thin paint brushes because the little floral details that I did on my 3x3 trinket trays were very intricate, but you may not need this level of intricacy depending on the design you pick. You will also need some kind of resin to seal in your design. I used this UV resin that my sister already had, and it was a quick dry one that could dry in the sunlight or under a UV light. I also recommend a lighter, especially one that has a long neck like this, because we will need to pop some air bubbles in the resin. The porcelain heart trays that I got were already painted and coated with a finish, so that's why they're already glossy. Acrylic paint works very well on top of this, but you will have to layer to get the right level of opacity, and you can wait until any of your strokes are completely dry if you make a mistake, and it will easily scratch off because mine are already coated. If you work on an uncoated surface, then you have to be very careful of any mistakes that you make because it might stain. I worked on multiple trays at a time because I had a vision of what I wanted on each one. So I would do one layer of color, and I was reading Fourth Wing at the time, so I would just pause for a little bit while it would dry, read a couple pages, and then go back in with my next color. If you're working with one trinket tray at a time, you can use a little blow dryer to dry the paint layers faster, or you can just intermittently work on it little by little in between layers like I usually do. I really like pastel colors and florals, so I paired a lot of my ghosties and little original designs with lots of different types of flowers. Depending on the stroke and the brush shape, you'll get different styles of petals. Right now, I'm working on a little lavender piece, and I'm making two little teardrops that are kind of angled in a V, and I'm going to connect them all together with a stem at the end. Depending on the color scheme you're going for, you may want to stick with all pastels or add some pops of color. Whenever I use brighter and more vibrant colors for the flowers, I also like to use a sharper green color so that it pairs nicely. I feel like if you do a lighter pastel color for the leaves here, it kind of gets washed out because the vibrancy of the flower colors already. Once you finish painting all your layers, I like to wait at least an hour or overnight before I start the resin process. You want to work in a well ventilated area with a mask and gloves for protection because resin can be very potent and it smells super strong. I am working out of my garage with the garage door open, and I have a little table here. If you end up using UV resin and you're new to it, please make sure that you are not under direct natural light because the sun UV rays will actually harden your resin immediately as you pour. I learned this the hard way, even under shade. You want to pour a thin layer of resin and tilt your tray around slowly to cover the entire surface of your painted area. If you realize that you needed to pour more resin afterwards, it's okay because it'll still move around. And after it's all done, you want to use the lighter and pop any air bubbles on the surface. I have this UV light from my mom because she does nails, so this one's actually for nails, but it worked out perfectly. You don't need this tool because UV resin also will cure in sunlight, so you would have to just find a safe place to let it cure in direct sunlight outside if you don't have a UV light. Here are some more angles of me kind of moving the resin around. It took a while to figure out the flow and what method worked best for me, but I noticed if you slowly tilt it and all of it sort of moves together, I wait until it goes into one corner and then I slowly tilt it to get to the other corner, and I keep going with that process. It's nearly impossible to make the resin perfectly clean, and you will find air bubbles as you go, or a piece of little lint or something that ends up sitting on top of your wet resin. You can use the lighter multiple times to get any air bubbles out before you cure it, and you can use a little toothpick to remove any lint before curing it as well. And here are the finished trinket trays. They are so cute and bite-sized. I feel like they make the perfect little personalized gift if you want to make it for your friends and family members. I let the resin sit for a couple more days by my windowsill just in case before packing up my orders. I feel like this is such a fun little passion project, and you can paint whatever you want on them. So I hope you guys learn something new, and if you try this out, please share your pictures with me. I'd love to see tagged photos and videos on TikTok or Instagram. Thanks so much for watching. Take care and see you next time.